Greetings, dear viewers. Today we will look at a segment of a training session on correcting the forehand topspin. We will identify the mistakes that have arisen, analyze how they can be corrected, and discuss which preparatory exercises can help us with this. My name is Ivan Tolmachev, and this is a channel about table tennis. Here you will find a lot of useful information to help you improve your game. Before you continue watching, please like and hit the notification bell. Let's get started. Today we will analyze a training session with my student Igor. He is no longer a beginner, has been training for almost a year and manages to hit some shots. Igor has a consistent forehand topspin, but there are significant technical flaws that reduce the quality of his shot. In this video, if you look closely, you can spot the following mistakes. First, the backswing and arm movement. Second, the shot is made with the shoulder. Third, the shoulder is being lifted up much too high. Fourth, there is a complete lack of any use of the torso. Fifth, there is absolutely no fixation or pause before the shot. Sixth, playing tangentially and to the side. Seventh, the legs are not working properly. At the beginning, we establish an understanding of how the element should be performed. I explain the movement itself, and most importantly, I try to recreate the muscle sensations that should be present in the shot, how the pelvis rotates, at what moment the torso starts, and when the forearm should be engaged. Then we break all of this down and start polishing each part separately, later combining everything into a single whole. The first thing we start with is the direction of the shot. The most interesting thing is that at each stage, both children and adults, when the shot technique is set up correctly, encounter certain subtleties that are either neglected or simply overlooked. At the beginning, it is necessary to learn how to rotate. Most people more or less master this stage. The second stage, which my students are at now, is creating pressure in the shots. In other words, it's a combination of topspin and drive. This is the so-called topspin shot, just at a minimal level. Not a finishing shot, but rather a good dense topspin with pressure. Then there will be a third stage and so on. I won't talk about those. Why do it this way and not just focus on spin? Back when we used to play with the celluloid ball, that was more than enough. You could just spin and win. Do a so-called high arc topspin and then go and relax. With the new ball, if you play with spin only and without density, the ball comes in too light for a counterattack, so with the plastic ball, players started to press more forward to achieve good speed. The ball's trajectory is low and straight, the arc has become minimal because if the ball flies high, it will be slow and easy for the opponent to counterattack aggressively. This, in turn, has significantly affected technique. Since Igor strikes every single ball with strong spin but not much speed, the reason for this is that he plays with an upward glancing stroke. What do we do to correct this mistake? First, we set a more open racket angle, about 45 degrees. This angle allows you to both press and spin the ball. Secondly, instead of moving from low to high as we did at the beginner stage when first learning to spin, we now move from low forward toward the net. Igor immediately has a question. How will the ball spin here and won't it fly into the net? Now let's use some logic together. First, we start the acceleration just below the ball and bend the forearm. In any case, it always has a bit of an upward motion. Second point, we hit the ball at the highest point of its bounce, and if it has already crossed the net, the likelihood that it will end up below the net on our side is minimal, so there is no need to guide it upward during contact. We figured out the direction of energy, the angle of the racket, and the point of contact. Now we need to stop the habit of jerking the ball with just one shoulder, which is why it is constantly lifting up into the air. Because of this, the elbow dangles and a wide variety of technical errors occur related to handling the ball. As a result, we either send the topspins too high, or we end up missing the ball entirely after a series of hits. To fix this, one of the helpful preparatory exercises using a gymnastic stick can be effective. We take the stick firmly by one end with our non-playing hand and carefully place it on the bend of the playing arm's elbow, pressing it down just slightly. Then we start to imitate the movement. What does this exercise do? First, it blocks the shoulder from moving upward. Second, we work on the lower forearm and begin to carefully observe how it flexes and moves. Plus, it gives a sense of support. This is when the axis, the humerus, or to put it simply, the elbow is in a stationary, fixed but not tense position. After we've figured out the position of the arm, how everything is placed and what moves where, we add the torso. The torso should rotate forward and inward in the direction of the stroke. For many amateurs, the way they use their torso looks like a roly-poly toy. They just stand and sway from side to side. Because of this, the elbow also lifts up, causing the center of gravity to shift and leading to many other major mistakes. Igor and I are breaking down what actually makes the movement work. It's fundamentally wrong to play by rotating the shoulder girdle. By doing this, you create a disconnect between your arms and legs. This can be used as a visual reference, but not as a physical one. The torso transmits energy from the legs. This is especially important when doing a topspin. Torso movement starts with the rotation of the hip and engaging the oblique abdominal muscles. It's as if you're turning your pelvis at the same time. At this moment, you start to push your right hip forward, and then the oblique abdominal muscles kick in. At this moment, the weight shifts to the left leg while simultaneously pressing the right side of the torso inward and forward. It feels as if you are striking with your entire right side of the body. This sensation is unmistakable and the ball starts to travel much more powerfully. I think you've seen how masters of the sport play, especially national team players. Usually when you enter the gym, you might not see them, but you will definitely hear them by the sharp sounds of their hits and sometimes by their groans. I'll talk about those in the episodes about breathing. When Igor started to feel his torso, we began to do practice swings to make sure the movement was correct. But from there, a new mistake appeared which became clearly visible. Igor makes a strong fast backswing with his arm and then slows it down at the moment of impact. At the same time, there is no fixation in any of the phases. We point out that the backswing should be shortened and the acceleration forward should be greater than backward. We swing back quickly but smoothly, stopping the arm before the strike. This approach provides you with extra time before the ball reaches its highest point and you can make your shot, nona odigishi. This specific moment is known as the pause in table tennis. It feels almost as if time stops at the exact moment of impact. You explode on the ball and the game continues. If this video gets 2000 likes, I will make a video about such a phenomenon in table tennis as the pause. What it is and how to play with a pause. We shortened the backswing and added precision. Now let's move on to the legs. This detail can be observed in most amateurs and, interestingly, even among professionals. In this case, Igor is supposedly working with his legs. What's wrong here? Right at the moment of the shot, the foot seems to move, but if you look closely, the energy doesn't go forward. He spins on the ball of his foot, then shifts to the heel and kind of spins on the heel, so part of the energy from the shot is lost backward. I show Igor his mistake, then demonstrate that the body weight should transfer to the left foot. Let me tell you about one very interesting detail. When you transfer your body weight to your front foot, you also need to sort of sink into it. That way you'll stay in the ready stance. If you don't do this, you'll start rising upward, which brings us back to the very beginning. With our legs, we also need to create a forward direction toward the table, leaning into it a bit, thereby transferring all the power into the shot. These subtleties were once shared with me by my colleagues from across Asia, and in this modern day and age, they are available to anyone around the world. Use this knowledge wisely, be careful, and make sure to look after your joints. After that, Yegor and I put everything together. The direction of the shot became more forward, the ball started flying faster, but unfortunately we weren't able to completely fix everything. And it's very rare to get it right immediately, especially at the stage of developing your technique. I think in 2 or 3 months we'll be able to show you the results of our work. That's all for today. Please make sure to like, share the video and subscribe to the channel. This was Ivan Tolmachev with you. See you all next time.